I gotta post this in the chat.
I think we're live, huh?
All right.
Wait for some people to pop in here. But yeah, man, it's been crazy busy. You set out any New Year's goals?
It's been rough. I wanted to go to the gym more just because I just haven't, and I got sick like January 3rd.
Oh man.
Yeah, I got sick January 3rd. So I've only been in the gym twice now in the new year. I was gonna go today too, but I did a different workout. I did a track workout instead, so I figure that's all right.
That's right. Forgot you're a track star. And yeah, then, man. I try to get in the gym every morning to start my day, man. It's a godsend. It keeps me sane. Looks like we got some people popping in. Let's kick this off. All right. It is January 10th, and joined by the one and only Chris Bagnell and myself, Bradley Meyer with DePIN Connection. We are going to talk about the market, and then we're going to dial in on DePIN and some AI agent stuff. But Chris, thanks for hopping on with me, man.
Yeah, of course, man.
Of course. So, bloody market the last week or so.
Yeah, just don't look at it.
Yeah, it's funny to me. Well, the market being down is not funny, but it's funny to me how the sentiment shifts so quickly. Like 2 weeks ago, everything on crypto Twitter was about bull run, altcoin season, et cetera, and then now it's like a week later, everyone's like, "Oh, the bull market's over," and everyone's always right, and no one.
94K Bitcoin and the bull market's over. It doesn't add up. Like, come on.
Yeah,
it'll be at 40 grand, I think, when it's over.
Yeah. And really, I actually looked back on every 4 years, following the Bitcoin halving. It's pretty normal actually to have a nice pullback in January, generally second half of January. But then once things bottom, things tend to take off from there. Not to say there won't be corrections along the way, but I have to say for me, it's a reminder to take some profits on the way up. And I think this market cycle, more than any, on those green days where you see massive moves up, not a bad idea to siphon off a little bit of money into some stable coins, whether that be to re-enter the market on a red day or just pull money out for your life or other investments outside of crypto. We have a question from Suburban Crypto. What's up, Suburban? Suburban and I talk all the time. He's a good dude. He said, do you think the DOJ will sell billions in Bitcoin before the change of administration? He said admirations. I think you meant administration.
They already sold a little bit.
Did they?
Yeah. There was a big article. They sold a bunch of seized Silk Road funds.
We'll pull that up because I've been looking, on chain. I don't think they've moved any.
Or maybe they were cleared to sell $6.5 billion.
Yeah. Okay. So the DOJ was cleared,
which is yesterday.
Yes, to sell. Now, as of now, nothing's moved. I don't know that they would go and sell it in the open market anyway. I wouldn't be surprised if they do an OTC sale.
Yeah.
Something to keep our eyes on. It would be pretty whack if they did this a week before the inauguration, and it would be, in my opinion, if it happens, very clear that they're trying to sabotage the potential plans of a strategic reserve. So I don't know that they're going to sell. I don't think so. And if they did, that would be pretty lame. I think it makes sense for them to let the next administration make that decision, but we'll have to wait and see. Now, it is a good amount. And I think that the market obviously reacted to this news. We saw a decent sell-off. There's a little bit of misinformation floating around that the sale had already happened, etc.
Myself included.
What's that?
Myself included. I just said, they did sell.
Yeah. So I think a lot of people thought that. Now,
Yeah.
I don't. I think if they do, it would probably spook the market a little bit. But I would look at that as a buying opportunity myself, because I believe the next administration is going to look to create a strategic reserve. Now, whether that happens right away, I don't know. Cynthia Loomis is talking about repricing our gold reserves because they're valued at the old value from forever ago. So she's like, if we reprice the gold reserves and take that money to buy Bitcoin, we create a reserve without having to print money. So we'll see what happens there, but I believe it's going to happen. And today, I think it was New Hampshire and one other state announced that they're filing for a potential strategic reserve. Now, that doesn't mean that it will get approved, but we're seeing a lot of these states start to move forward with that. A lot of noise from different countries that they're accumulating, particularly BRICS Plus. I don't know if you've watched my video on the strategic.
I haven't watched.
But you sent a lot of people to my video on your live stream, so I appreciate that.
Yeah. my YouTube recommendation feed recently has been like how to build cabinets. It hasn't been anything crypto related. It's whack. It's broken.
Well, you need to fix that algorithm, because where we're at in the market cycle, I would be looking at crypto. I wouldn't be building cabinets myself. But
it puts me right to sleep. It's awesome.
But I'll tell you what, man, I am strangely bullish right now, even with the blood that we've seen in the markets. I think maybe part of that is I've just, after being in, it's my second full market cycle. How long have you been in, Chris?
Since 2017.
Okay, so longer than me. You kind of get, what's that?
I think this is my third cycle.
Hey man, you're an old man in this game.
I know.
You started young. Yeah, it generally I was having this conversation with someone, by the way, about people and their market cycles. And generally, your first market cycle, you lose money. I did, I was up for a period of time, but I was not prepared. Second market cycle, you can normally make some pretty good money. Third market cycles where you pretty much clean up.
Hoping to do that.
Usually depends on the person.
For all the projects that have burned me in the past, or I've sold too early or too late. Helium, perfect example. Sold too late.
Oh man, yeah, that was a tough one. I think so. Here, my strategy right now, and I do believe that we're going to have an alt season, by the way. So, and I could be wrong, but looking historically, this is normal to have a pullback in January, and in fact, throughout bull runs, you see Bitcoin pullback way more than what we've just seen. And if we see a 20-30% retracement in Bitcoin, you better believe alts are going to bleed 50%. Okay, so I think that we have the inauguration coming up. I believe, and I don't know that we've bottomed yet. We could see, I think, Bitcoin get into like the high 80s potentially, and more blood in the markets before we bottom. But I do remain very bullish, and the majority of my portfolio, I own a fair amount of Bitcoin, but I also I've been building my positions in the DePIN projects that I cover for years at this point. So I have a substantial portfolio in DePIN. Now,
your fleets have helped you too accumulate, every week.
For sure. Yeah. I keep adding. So my Hive Mapper, I still am earning Helium because I had 70, I installed 70. They're not all up and running at this point, but I'm earning IoT. I'm also obviously earning Demo every week. So like 250 vehicles connected there. So it's
casual.
So Suburban, who was in the chat, he has me beat. He has more cars than me. I think we talked. I think we were both like in the top 3 for like hardware fleets.
I have
globally.
I'm having issues, and I have 4.
It gets a lot easier when the market's up, doesn't it? So it's so it's not like a lot. I have a substantial position in the DePIN space. Now, we haven't seen the DePIN rotation yet, and that's the question. Like, are we going to see it? We saw in spring of 2024. Sorry, it's 2025. We did see a decent pump, right? We saw Demo get up to like 70 cents. We saw a lot of DePIN projects pump, but not like you would see in a traditional, like full on bull run. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's the question. Is the rotation going to happen? I think so. I think we'll see it. The question is when. In the interim, though, I do have like, a 5-10%, but around 5% allocation that I have in my like moonshot wallet, right? Where I'm looking at where the narratives are. And, last year's meme coins, I hit on some, I lost on a lot. I should have taken profits more on some. Like, I left a lot of money on the table. I came out ahead, but I could have done a lot better. I think now the AI agents is where things are going. And I've been spending a lot of time over the last couple of weeks researching AI agents, the different platforms, and where, because I think this rotation is going to happen. When you compare the meme coin market cap to AI agent market cap, it's still vastly different. And I think we're going to see more and more money flow over. And Base seems to be the leader right now for the AI agents. Okay, so I do want to get to that and talk about the places that I have invested. Obviously, not financial advice. The one thing, by the way, about these AI agents is like, just like all of crypto, it's very high risk. Like a lot of these are going to go to zero, kind of like the NFTs in the last bull run. Okay.
Yeah.
But this market cycle has been different, man. Like it's not like you can just take positions and everything takes off all at once. You've had to be a lot more strategic about finding the narratives, finding where the rotations are happening. But I do believe we're just getting started on the AI agents.
I don't know if you remember, maybe 2022 or 2021, there was a huge spike in all of it was when Meta became Meta. It was when Facebook transitioned into Meta. There was a huge pump in all of like the AR, VR type stuff. And I think that was just like the very beginning of, I think it's going to be a lot bigger this time. Because I remember Sandbox was just one of them. There was a bunch of AR coins that blew up. Let me look it up.
Yeah, no, I do remember. And our Sandbox did go crazy. There's Mana with the virtual real estate.
Yeah, everyone was buying. Like Coca-Cola had slots and stuff, and now the coin's worth 59 cents. They just didn't.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, Snoop Dogg had some land in their stuff.
Snoop Dogg and everything.
Yeah. So, I mean, you could have done very well in that, obviously. But then, again, if you don't, take profits, you're going to round trip that. But, Jensen Huang, the CEO of NVIDIA, came out this week and was like, hey, AI agents need like a multi-trillion-dollar thing. And we're seeing – sorry, go ahead.
Did you see their new GPU that they announced, which is $599, and it has the same performance as the best GPU they've ever created? Their lowest tier GPU is now better than their best one ever, the 4090. Which I mean, the graphics power that's going to drive, I think, with AI is going to be huge, especially with all of the hardware-driven companies like Flux that you provide these GPUs for AI compute. That's what they do. I think having that low price point, it might bring GPU mining back in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
Not sure.
We'll see, man. It is pretty remarkable, and NVIDIA continues to ship like it's wild, man. And then he like basically like shit on quantum computing, saying it's like a ways off, and then all the quantum stocks like just like got cut in half, just based. It was
that'd be a way to push it out into the future, is to cut their funding right there.
Yeah, for real. So here's my thoughts, though. Okay, I don't know that we've bottomed, and anyone says that they know is full of it. No one knows. But historically speaking, we see a pullback in January and every 4 years. And then second half of January, things bottom, and that's where things take off. That's how I'm playing this. I'm excited. I think DePIN is going to be a leading narrative. One of the cool things too about DePIN is that, you know, some of these congressional hearings we have like GeoNets presenting. Okay. I think that when they're looking for real world use cases for blockchain, DePIN is going to be one of those sectors that's taken very seriously from, you know, traditional investors too. And then, you know, keep in mind, like HiveMapper, was it David Sachs, right? He's going to be appointed to basically the crypto czar, I believe, for Trump. He's an early investor in HiveMapper. So this guy, you know, he understands DePIN. I do believe that we're going to see people looking for something that they can resonate with. DePIN's one of those things. So when the rotation happens, if and when, I think it's going to be very exciting. I think it's going to be worth all the work that we've been doing in this space. Chris, which projects are you most bullish on, or which ones are you most invested in?
Most invested in right now, probably Demo. Demo, Wayru, HiveMapper. There's so many projects. It's hard to keep track of them all. I got a GeoNet. Oh yeah, easily the biggest investment was my ASIC miner, but I mean that's I don't really do anything with that. I like the DePINs because it's more hands-on.
Sure.
But I think Demo and HiveMapper are like, when you look at what they actually provide, like Helium, yeah, it's just so niche, like IoT, it's cool. I understand the idea of it. A lot of people understand the idea of it, but it's just such a niche product that the everyday person doesn't even know that they would even be connecting to it. But like Demo and HiveMapper, the fact that every single person uses GPS navigation in the United States. You can't really say worldwide because there's still places that are, you know, whatever. But like those two projects to me, I think just have insane potential, and they still aren't even close to seeing the top of the iceberg.
Yeah, I would agree. One of the things, I'm going to pull this up for a demo.
I like the guys behind Demo. Like they have such a good team, and I always said, like, since I was like the first person to cover their project, their ability to market is very, very good. It's better than any crypto project that I've seen before. Their whole graphic design department, like everything, they just do a very good job.
They do, and those guys are super smart. I recently interviewed Rob Solomon. That guy is freaking brilliant, man. And you know they are moving over to Base.
Yep,
I think that's actually a really smart move. I'm hearing more and more, and I've been talking to a lot of different teams over the last couple of weeks. There's a lot of teams that are considering moves over to Base right now. Apparently, the developer tools are amazing. So I think that's a good move. I think it's going to allow them to also open the door up for institutional interest. Absolutely. I think, you know what I mean? So I think it's going to be a trusted chain on an institutional level. They're also trying to get in with like some major vehicle manufacturers. So having, you know, being on a chain like Base is going to be helpful in that. The other thing though is like, okay, the developer licenses. This is the one thing everyone, you know, they're like, oh, there's going to be selling our data. It's like, no, their whole goal, man, is to build out this network of vehicles to attract developers to build useful applications. Like basically, you know, the Apple Store, but for your car. And, you know, they announced or they released their developer dashboard tool back in like August. They had 19 devs back then. Look at this hockey stick curve. They currently have 126 130 developer licenses. Most of that is just over the last like month or two. So we're especially like this month going to Base is probably a big part of that. So we're about to see a huge amount of building and apps being built on Demo, and that's super exciting, man. And I think we're going to see the revenue follow. They also started shipping their new R1 device.
I got two of them.
Oh yeah. So I heard they're super easy to set up. What are your thoughts on that?
So I actually just made a video setting up a macaroon. Is that how you say it, by the way? Or is it macaron?
I think it's a macaron.
All right. But I don't know. I've had the same issue with the R1 and the macaron. It's just like sometimes it doesn't update. It's the initial update when you're onboarding that causes an issue, and I just have to close the app, reopen it. But after that, it's super easy.
Okay.
I don't know. I guess you don't have one.
No, I haven't gotten any. I have a Macaron, but I haven't gotten any R1s.
The data that it gives you is so. I don't have the AutoPie, so I don't know how the data is with that. But the data that I get with this, I'm in a Jeep Cherokee with this one, and it tells me the fuel level, the odometer, and the marketplace value. But I can see like when the estimated miles that I can get, and it tells me how much the odometer has gone up in the past week. It tells me how much you drive. Like this kind of stuff is, it's cool that you can just look at it at your phone. It's not something that you think about often, but when I need the mileage of my car, I can just look in the Demo app instead of having to go out to my car, turn it on. Like it's a pretty cool feature. But I have another R1 I need to find a home for, and a Macaron that I got to take out of my buddy's car because it's just not working. I think he's in an area there's just there's no connection.
Yeah, it's tough with the helium one, man. Just because if you're not like in a major city where you have coverage everywhere, it's not going to be.
Well, I got a helium monitor in my house where I have one plugged into my dad's car, so that's no problem. It'll always connect. No problem there.
And look, we're like 15 cents. Here's what's crazy to me, right? I think I was looking back, like the lowest it was at was like 2.5 cents. So, and that was years ago, right? So we really haven't seen most DePIN projects. Again, we saw that pump last spring-ish. And then, oh, sorry, this is the 1-day chart. Let's go. We gotta go back to the all-time. So there it is. So we saw that huge spike last spring. Like 52 cents there. I think it wicked above that, but we're not that far off from where this thing launched, and we're seeing a lot of DePIN projects are kind of in that spot there. So I think if the market does take off like we're expecting, I think a lot of these projects are going to absolutely rip. We'll see what happens.
I think HiveMapper is in a stagnant state until they get their new camera shipped out.
Oh yeah.
Like I think that token is as good as dead until that camera is in people's hands, and then it could just go ballistic.
I absolutely agree. And it, I interviewed Ariel like a few weeks ago. It sounds like they're getting everything into full production. So
yeah, they're starting to ship some of their. I'm seeing their posts on X. They're shipping a lot of their cameras. I haven't seen anybody actually post that they have them, so I don't know if these are like big orders for companies that were placed early on, but hopefully we can get our hands on them. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I have some ordered, so we'll see. But if they execute on that, I think they can do well. I mean, I've got GeoNet pulled up here. We're talking about HiveMapper, but I like for people when more retail comes into the space, when they're looking, when the DePIN rotation happens and people are looking for projects, a decentralized, Google Maps, that's going to make sense to a lot of people. And they map 30% of the world's roads. I mean, there's some things to be excited about there, but I think that's going to be one that attracts a lot of interest. We haven't seen the Binance listing. There was some like on-chain, activity a couple months ago to suggest that might be happening. It hasn't happened yet. So we'll see if that does happen, depending on timing. If they ship it could be like the perfect storm. And I wouldn't put it past them to be like holding off on the listing until like market conditions improve, until the camera's shipping to kind of put fuel on the fire. I would love that if that does happen. We'll see what happens. I
know we're on GeoNet right now, but I think another interesting thing about HiveMapper is that you can describe it to what you just said. You can describe it to pretty much anybody in 3 words. Like you can't do that with it's decentralized Google Maps. Like you can't really describe any project like that and people be like, oh, I get it. Just because Google Maps is already so big.
Yeah.
Just say, it's decentralized. And then they'll be like, well, what do you mean? Then you can, really, you got them hooked and you can explain the whole thing to them. They're like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, you look at like the last market cycle and you're like, you're trying to explain DeFi to people and they're like, they have no clue. So yeah, I absolutely agree. So I think it is something that can resonate with pretty much anyone, and that's why I think it could attract investors. We'll have to wait and see what happens, but they need to execute on this B. There's a lot of frustration. A lot of people are very upset about the wait, and I get it. I had the same thing with the helium situation, man. I had a bunch of Nebras. I got totally burned there. It really like soured me on the whole project for a while. I think a lot of people are feeling that way about HiveMapper right now. So we'll see if they can make right by that and execute on that. So I think the whole project at this point kind of hinges on it. Man, GeoNet, this is a nice looking chart. GeoNet is crushing it, and I'm looking here, man. I wish I had just aped in back in spring of 23.
I had
2 cents. But yeah, man, GeoNet continues to ship. It's kind of crazy too. It's been kind of boring because it's just been sideways chopping. But on red days, it kind of is like the only thing in my wallet that's not dropping.
Very stable.
It's very stable. They just announced they have burned 1% of their total supply, because they have a fully deflationary system. I believe it's 80% of revenue goes to token burns. You can actually see that on chain in their burn wallet. So they have revenue coming in. I think it's something like half of their stations are getting daily use. And they're constantly announcing new partnerships. They're shipping, man. The one thing they're missing is a big centralized exchange listing, because they have a lot of DEXs on here. Gate.io, I wouldn't consider that it.
Can't even use Gate.io in the US. They have like Gate US, and now it's different. So yeah, you can't even use it in the US. There's no US exchange, and that's the killer.
I think it'll happen. I brought that up with Mike, and I did an interview with him too, and like Mike's super smart, by the way. And he's like, well, it's kind of against the whole, point of crypto. Like it should be decentralized, should self-custody. I'm like, I get it, but
got to make it easy for the investors to get into it.
The vast majority of people don't know how to use a decentralized exchange, man. Like that is a foreign language for most people. Now, that's one thing that's interesting with these AI agents, though, man. Like, I don't think we're far off from being able to just instruct an AI agent to like create your wallet, to make your transactions for you. It's going to be able to manage all of that. It's going to really, I think, reduce the friction for people to get into crypto. So that's going to be pretty cool when that happens. But in the interim, GeoNet, get some damn centralized exchange listings. What the heck?
Yeah, I've been hosting my GeoNet since September 2024. I've made 1,200 GeoNet so far. So I only get 25% of the rewards. And I've made 1,200 GeoNet, which is terrible because if I made all of it, I would be sitting at like 4,000 GeoNet, 4,500 GeoNet. But it was free.
Yeah. Can't beat free.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is one that I've accumulated a pretty big position in this project over time. Like it wasn't all at once. I've just been adding, siphoning profits from my, I'd had my meme coin wallet. Now I moved into AI agents, on green days, siphoning profits off, moving into my DePIN positions over time. That's kind of been my strategy. And that's what I'm going to continue doing. Now, one thing I will say, though, moving into this part of the market cycle, the goal right now for me, and not financial advice, but I think this is the way to start thinking about this is this is where I messed up in the last market cycle. Okay. I want to have a nice size bag of stable coins to invest in the bear market. Okay. That's where you make crazy FU money. Think about if you had, you're like, oh, I put 20 grand in GeoNet at, 2 cents. Okay. You would have done a 13x on that. So, other examples, like I found Nosana at 2 cents that didn't like a 400x. I wish I had put in like 20 grand. I would have made millions of dollars. I didn't have the liquidity at the time to do that.
I found Sui or Sway, SUI at a very low price, like sub $1, and it hit 5 the other day.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I didn't have a lot. I only had like 70.
So that's the hardest part, is like being patient, because like I will move money into stablecoins, and then I've been doing my research and I get excited about a project, and it's like, yeah, I could wait a month for a major pullback, but I want to get a position. I think that's something that like be very diligent about, though, is just holding some stable coins, siphoning off on really big pumps. You're not going to be able to time the top of the market. No one can. You might get lucky, but it's not possible to time the top or the bottom every time. That's why you DCA in, DCA out. And again, the way you make a lot of money, you can do well in the short term, but if you can play it so that you have a nice stablecoin bag to invest in, say, 2026, if market cycle repeats itself late 2026 into 2027, that's where you have ridiculous gains, because a lot of these projects have already done a 10x.
Yeah.
Like Render, I covered that on my channel, like $1.50. I covered a cash at like 50 cents. A lot of these have already pumped a lot. There's still upside, I think, in my opinion, not financial advice, but to get 100x's, 1000x's, they're a lot harder to find at this part of the market cycle. Let's see what else. WeatherXM. I just did a video on WeatherXM. I don't know if you saw that. I posted it today. It's interesting.
The interview or not the interview. I'm thinking of something else. Those Wingbits.
Oh yeah, Wingbits. They're launching their token pretty soon. And they've got a dual miner with GeoNet. You see that?
Yes, I did see that.
It's pretty cool. Let's pull that up.
I like I mean I have a referral link for the site, but EasyNav, XYZ, like any of the DePIN sites that sell all of the DePIN projects are pretty nice, because it makes research honestly a little bit easier. You don't have to look at like what's the next DePIN project to get into. You just go on one of these sites. You're like, oh, they're selling Wayru now. What is this? And then it's a lot easier to find these kind of projects now.
Yeah, there's a lot of good sites. Like DePIN Ninja is pretty good to find projects too. Like there's
$1,095. That's crazy.
It is, but
it looks funny. It literally looks like a GeoNet with a helium antenna screwed in through the head.
Yeah, it's freaking badass though, man. You can mine Geode, and they're gonna be able to mine the Wingbits token with it. Wingbits is using the GeoNet network to get precise location data. So it's actually like you can make use of the network at the same time. I think it's freaking cool, man. And I like both projects. Like I interviewed the founder. I've interviewed the founder of both of them. GeoNet obviously is like light years ahead. They've been at this now for a few years, but Wingbits, I think Wingbits has potential too, man. With tracking that flight data. So we'll see. But I think it's pretty cool to be able to double down on both projects. So that's pretty sweet.
That's the thing I like a lot about the ASIC I have, is I can mine like 15 different coins, or I can just mine a couple. But projects where you can double dip, or like Crank, the ability to mine helium tokens. I know the IoT token is worth less than pocket change, but the IoT token and Crank at the same time. And for a while, there was a lot of projects that were trying to get on board with Raspberry Pi support. So adding whatever, try and just tap into the antennas and everything that you could use on the Helium network and just reuse them for their projects. And those are nice. Even with Demo, you can't necessarily double dip, but with your car, you can get a OBD splitter and use SoarChain and Demo together. I've seen people do that. There's a lot of projects like that where you can kind of do two at once.
For sure. I mean, I have a lot of people in my fleet with Demo and HiveMapper. Obviously.
Yes. Yeah, I forgot about that one.
I'm really curious to see, by the way, with HiveMapper, like what the cost of the data plans are going to be. Because like, okay, you can go really big on fleets now because it makes it so much easier.
Oh yeah.
it was like herding cattle sometimes with 100 people in my fleet to get them to upload imagery. And if they're having issues and troubleshooting and all that BS, man, like being able to just, and you'll be able to get into like companies that have big fleets and just like stick the camera in there.
Yeah.
It really reduces a lot of that friction. So I'm curious, if the numbers will work. I think they can. That would be pretty exciting if so.
I'm curious for your fleet that you have with all your Hive mappers. I know the mount that they shipped was not very good. So did you have to go through and provide a mount for them, or did you? Okay.
Oh yeah, I got secondary mounts for all of them. One of them I bought, like they upgraded it, or they changed the way they built it over time, because it was like a plastic mount at first and it was like melting. So so then they started like changing the suction cup on there, so I was having to replace them. I mean, the good news is, set all of them up as LLC, so those are business expenses, but it's not still a cost.
It's it's also a huge nuisance if you have people all over the world. You got to ship these
for sure. All right, let's Weather XM. Look, I was majorly sleeping on this project. Like I did set up some IoT weather stations. They're super easy to set up. So you just put some batteries in, and it's wireless, man. You just like stick it on the roof. And mine again was the connection to the Helium IoT network. So I set some up with some of my old Helium hosts. So doubling down on both, which is pretty sweet. My Suburban Crypto is the one who's like, hey, you should take another look at this project. Because like for me, I was like, who's going to buy this data? So I did. I took another look at it, and that's what inspired me to make the video that I put out today. So shout out to you, Suburban.
I'll have to take a look at that, because I'm in the same shoes that you were in. I'm thinking, who's going to buy this data? I know a lot of people in my server are disappointed in Weather XM. They compare it to I'm drawing a blank in the name of the project, but it was they use like the Aware element.
Oh, you're talking about the weather one?
Yeah.
I'll think of it, and I know exactly what you're talking about. I think that's very different. Okay. But I do know exactly what you're talking about. And and then all these people had the equipment. I listened to a podcast about this actually, because a lot of people had the equipment out there for it, and they wanted to basically use that equipment. Oh, it's Planet Watch. Yeah. Okay. Now I think
was that it? Yeah, I think that was it.
Yeah. And in the founders of like Planet Watch, the people like wanted another project was like, hey, we want to like get access to move that equipment that's out there over to ours. And they're like, well, they're trying to like charge them a subscription fee or something to move it over. And they're like, man, kick rocks. So yeah, no, screw that project. But I do think Weather XM has potential. Okay. Aside from what the chart looks like here. So, wow. How they start out up there?
It sounds right. Yeah.
Interesting.
But yeah, that they were the guy that has a Planet Watch device, or that was in it. They were big into it. They wanted me to make a YouTube video on it. I pre-ordered like 6 licenses, and then the next day I was like, nah, I don't think I want this anymore. I got them all refunded. The project just died. It died like within the week that they wanted me to make the video. I was very glad I didn't. And then he's had this Weather XM. I know Weather XM has had a lot of issues with getting their token live. Like there was setbacks for quite a while.
Yeah.
And then now that it was finally out, he was pretty disappointed. I think it doesn't make a lot, but
well, here's the deal. Here's what people need to realize. Well, and also you're right. They did delay their mainnet several times. I think a lot of people got disenfranchised and they're like, man, what the hell?
Yeah. If you delay it more than twice, most people are going to jump, I feel like.
Yeah. And I get that. Here's what people need to realize though. The total supply is 100 million. So like, I think a lot of people don't get that. They're like, oh, well, I'm learning way less tokens here than I am with, Hive Mapper. Well, Hive Mapper has 10 billion tokens in their supply. Okay, you look at like Demo and GeoNet, most other projects in DePIN have 1 billion. So, take whatever you're earning there and divide that by 10, okay? Because it's a small supply. Look at the market cap, 24 million. I think they have potential. I like what they're doing. After doing all my research on this project, it's really interesting. So it's like 78% of harvested cropland is in emerging countries, and none of them have weather data. Because like in the US and Europe, we have government funding basically to put all these weather stations out to get good data, to get forecasts. Yeah. These other countries don't have that. So what they're doing with WeatherXM is basically they're taking kind of like what DABA's doing, right? So they're taking financiers that want to invest in weather stations, teaming up with professional deployment companies, and then going out to these farms and getting coverage in these emerging countries. And the game plan is to essentially now take this data that no one else has and sell it to analytics companies. There's a lot of weather analytics companies, especially with AI, that want more data. They want more weather data. So I do believe that there's a market here. And over time, I think they're going to continue to grow their market. And, obviously a differentiator is they become the largest weather network in the world, which I think will happen eventually. What's that?
I agree, but the downside I see is just if they're aiming to get all this data in other countries, what would be the benefit in the US if we already have all this data that the government funds?
So here's the thing with the US. That's what I just talked about is more short term for them to get in the door with these analytics companies, get some revenue through the door. So these stations are never going to be as good as what like the government stations are. Yeah. But when you look at your forecast, most of the time they're using data from your nearest airport.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's true. That's a good point.
When the one thing with AI that they're seeing, like Google just launched GenCast. It's their AI forecasting tool. Their weather forecasts right now are outperforming the best like meteorologists 97% of the time. But they need more data. So as you get more and more granular data, hyper-local, and you have a historical precedent there, these AI models are going to be able to pull all that data, be able to sift out bad data, and really get a lot more granular, a lot more accurate on weather forecasts. So even in the US where we have good weather forecasts, they can get better. And I think having more granular data collection is going to be really beneficial.
Yeah. You just like unlocked a piece in my head with like the first sentence you said. You're like, yeah, they usually use airports. I'm like, oh yeah. Like I think we're so used to our entire lives looking at the weather app and then looking outside and being like, this isn't right. Like we're just so used to that being a part of our lives that we forget the fact that this could actually be improved. And this is a way to improve it. So do you have the H2?
Is that, I guess that's what's called. I have the first version of the helium device. So
okay, it looks like the H2 is helium and low raw WAN.
Yeah, I have a handful of those out there.
Okay, they're about $400. It looks like.
Yeah, I pre-ordered them like before they were out, so I think I paid a little bit more at the time. But but I think they're awesome, man. In fact, like I've actually bought more WXM token aside from what I'm mining. They have it on Solana. They have it available on Solana, so I bought some on Solana. Because I look, the team, like the CEO is super committed to that guy. He started a weather company like 10 years ago. His dream has been to create this decentralized weather network, but they ran into, I mean, we didn't have DePIN back then.
Yeah.
And then he drew inspiration from Helium back in 2019 to go the DePIN route. And so I think, that's something I always look for is a CEO that has pertinent history, right, and experience, but also that's super passionate about what they're doing. So I think the other thing is they have 55% of the token rewards going to contributors, which is much higher than what you see with a lot of DePIN projects. So I think there's a lot to like about this project. I mean, we'll see where it goes, but it looks pretty attractive at 24 million, in my opinion. Now, that not financial advice, so you should do your own research on that.
There's a 10% discount when you buy their stations if you use their token. which is cool. And they accept crypto, which that's perfect. I love projects that accept crypto as payment because to me, I can just roll my profits over from another project and just continue to expand. And that's directly from their site.
There's another. So Exhibits. Have you heard of that one?
No, you always put me on to new stuff. So don't expect me to know anything.
So I am so bullish on this. This is the most bullish I've been on a project in a while. It is a DePIN. I would not have known about this unless I'd gone to Austin. I was in Austin, Texas for Consensus. Mm-hmm. I ran into these guys. They just sourced like 4,000 H200s, I think it is. They are feeding GPU resources to like all of the big DePIN projects. So they're basically going around all over the world to data centers that have really high-end GPUs, have a large number of high-end GPUs, and they're aggregating. Their team is like cracked, dude. Like they haven't launched their token yet. They just had a Twitter Spaces a couple days ago, and they officially announced that they're going to be launching a token. So I assume that will come soon. But this is one that I am definitely planning on putting some profits aside to move into this when they launch. But I think this is going to be a monster project, and they're doing it the right way. I highly recommend listening to that X Spaces that they did a couple days ago if you get a chance. But I've been super impressed with this project. Let's see.
I think anything with GPUs has potential to do well, just because that power is needed everywhere.
For sure. I agree. I think one of the problems, though, that I see with some of these GPU networks is that, they're sourcing GPUs that aren't really the high-end GPUs.
If you're paying people to run a 2080 Super, they're not the top of the line anymore.
Yeah. And then also when you have like individuals with, that you're trying to pull from different areas, like you have latency issues and all types of stuff. So most of these networks, you might be able to inference models, but training is not going to happen. But I think with what Exhibits is doing, because they have the highest end GPUs and they're sourcing from data centers that have hundreds, thousands in some cases, those are capable of training. So I think Exhibits is a little bit different. Nasana is one I'm still bullish on, though. Like I covered this, dude. This is one I go back. I kick myself. Back in November of 23, I covered this at 2 cents, and I did put money in it. I just wish I had put a lot more in it. But again, going back to the bear markets when you can make astronomical gains, but yeah, I think this project still has a lot of room to run. They have their main net coming up in like a week, I think. So this is one that was January 14th, it says. So in 4 days, they have their main net. I wouldn't be surprised when their main net hits to see a nice little pop here.
So Nasana has a token price, even though it's not on mainnet?
Yeah, a lot of these projects launch before their main net. Like Streamer, I think, was like 7 years for their main net. A lot of these projects have tokens. Like they launched a token, but I'm saying they have like, their platform, their actual usage of their platform.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So they had like several different tests or beta versions of their platform, but their actual like full mainnet's launching. And again, like, gosh, man. Yeah, I covered it right around.
Don't look too long, dude. You're gonna get upset.
Yeah, no kidding.
I hate doing that.
But yeah, I like Nasana. I think it still has room to go. I think Render does too.
I had a bunch of BNB token when it was like $5 to $7, and I sold it all, and now it's at 700. So feel the pain on that. Render, yeah, I'm a little burned about Render, not the project at all, like just the token, because I had a couple $100 of it in a wallet that got hacked.
Oh, brutal.
Yeah. So I lost my whole bag on that. I had to start over. And that was a couple $100 before the pump too. So I don't know how much that's worth now.
I think this can go higher. I mean, let's see, I covered it back at $1.19 on my channel. So this is kind of cool. So I was at New Year's Eve. I was in Vegas in the Sphere. Went to an EDM concert, and it turns out that they developed that whole thing on render.
Wow.
Yeah, they rendered the whole show, and it was a badass show, man. It was super cool. But yeah, apparently they developed the whole thing on the render network, which is pretty cool. So this one is, I think they're going to have institutional interest. I think we've probably covered this before, but you've seen their team and their advisors, right?
Probably.
Let's take a look here. It's pretty wild who they have on there. Resources. Where's their team? About us. Haha. So Jules Erbach, CEO, that guy is like there's known as like the godfather of rendering. Ari Emanuel.
Oh yeah, I know Jules. I've looked at this.
CEO of Endeavor. Endeavor owns the UFC, WWE.
Yep.
JJ Abrams, he's like behind a lot of the Star Wars movies. Brandon Ike, the CEO of Brave Browser. You have Winkleman, who's Beeple. Like, this team is crazy. And they have a partnership with Apple. So yeah, I think render. Where are we at right now? We're like in the top. Number 37. I wouldn't be surprised if this thing peaks up into the top 20, honestly.
And they say crypto has no merit. Crypto isn't going anywhere. God, my family members say that. I'm like, are you kidding me, man?
Well,
look at the people that are in these projects and what else they do. Like,
I hear you, and that's why, like, I'm for a while I was like not even telling people I was in crypto.
I know it feels like well, it's definitely changed now, but when I told people about it during the previous cycle, a lot of them are like, oh, what should I invest in? Or they're like, it's all going to go to zero, because that was the first time they were hearing about it. But
yeah,
this cycle, especially with my job, it's awesome because now there's crypto tax laws that are in effect that my company has to know about. So it's legitimate. It's all of this has suddenly become legitimate. There's clients that hold crypto. We have to now ask them if they hold any to report it and all that stuff. So like, it's changing. And when I bring it up in the work environment, everyone's like, oh yeah. And they want to learn. They want to hear about it.
It is changing.
Crazy.
The meme coin stuff doesn't help, especially when you have like fart coin going to like $1.4 billion. But
yeah, there's quite a few meme coins in the top 100.
It is what it is. I mean, here's like, you can't fight it, man. And that's what I realized is it was like super frustrating last year. Being in DePIN, like looking at all the fundamentals of these projects, and then you have, people making, millions on Fartcoin. I'm like, what the hell, dude? So, but now I'm like, you know what? Embrace it. Like, I'm gonna take 5% of my portfolio and see what happens over there. But again, that's 5%. That I'm like, you know what? It's probably going to go to zero. So I'm going to see if I can hit big on some of these, but I am fully aware that these projects are going to be worthless at some point. So, do you have any other DePIN projects you want to talk about? Because I do want to hop in. Speaking of I
don't know if you've seen this part on CoinMarketCap. If you go to the homepage, there is a section for DePIN. I don't know if you knew about.
Oh yeah,
that.
yeah. Let's do that. That's a good idea, right here. Let's see, surrender.
I like how it has the AI thing too, and they separate out memes and AI memes. So like, it's cool though, because you mentioned the AI sector and how it's going to be big. If you want to look up to new projects, and anyone watching this video, if you want to look at AI projects, you don't have to search AI projects and see a biased list that someone published that they were paid to publish. You can just go directly to CoinMarketCap now, and they just sort it by their market cap.
Oh, this is one.
Yeah.
This is cool. Arweave. Man, I just continue to add. I just don't understand how it's sitting down there.
Wait, is it a big? I feel like I bought it at like $7.
Probably. I mean, I think when I covered it in August of 23, it was at like $4. But dude, it's still. I mean, you look at the all-time high. It got up to $75 in the last market cycle, and it's pretty much fully diluted at this point. So you don't have to worry about any further dilution. Here's the other thing, some alpha on this. AO, which is it's basically the ability to run smart contracts on top of Arweave. They're launching very soon, and AO is going to their tokens launching very soon. So now you accumulate the tokens now, I guess, but they're not really tradable at this point. But okay, so let's say you buy Arweave. If you move it into one of their wallets, like I have in my R Connect wallet, I believe.
Yeah.
You earn AO tokens just for holding Arweave. But this, I think Arweave is going to be a monster project. It's permanent storage. I think it's something like 80% of Solana NFTs are stored on Arweave. There's set like 15 or 16 blockchains storing their data on Arweave. This project, in my opinion, and again, not financial advice, I think is undervalued. And I've been adding to my position on this quite a bit. I want to add a lot more. I just can't believe it's $15.91, man. What the hell? So
down a bit.
Yeah,
I wanted at like 14, and then I went up to like 18. And I was like, oh yeah. There's a bunch on this list that I've talked about. AIOZ network. I had that. I bought that last bull run. That's I sold it, ended up selling it, but their website is very cool. Grass is another one. Grass is so easy and it's free. It's literally a browser plugin.
Some of these
Biotex, Peak is supposed to be massive.
Yeah, Peak is actually a blockchain for DePINs.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I've looked into it. I imagine it will do well. But like, I don't know. If I was a DePIN project, would I build on Peak or would I build on like Base? Or Solana? I don't know. I think Peak has tools that help projects kind of get their feet on the ground and get their project moving. But I don't know. We'll wait and see. I bet it'll do well, but
yeah,
I don't know that's necessary. There's Nasana. Let's see. Hive Mapper's up there.
Are you into Wayru at all?
No. Talk about Wayru. Where's that at?
It's in testnets. There's no token yet.
Okay. Oh, that's right. Somebody commented in one of my videos about that, and they said that I guess you're just like accumulating the pre-mined tokens right now.
Yeah, I got 6 of them going right now. But they had their token before in the wallet, so I could see they had like a pegged amount to it, and apparently it was about $2 a day per device. So I've broken even on them. I've had them going for over. This is going into my third month, I think, 2 or 3 months.
Okay,
I have quite a bit, like over 100,000 tokens. And you make about, I think, 2,000 tokens a day or something, 3,000.
That's legit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to look into that project. I also want to look at Daba. That's something that I need to do some research on because they've teamed up with WeatherXM, and I heard they're like bringing internet basically to India, which there's a massive need there apparently.
Yeah. So is Daba? I know you got to look into it more, but is Daba more of a? It seems like they are focusing a lot on India versus, like, I don't think there'd be a benefit for me to have one here, right?
I think the way theirs works, and again, I need to look into it, but just based on like very surface level, I believe you can invest and then like into a device, and then they have a professional deployment business actually set it up for you, and then you get token rewards, which I think is really smart.
Yeah,
I mean, it allows them to source revenue outside of India. It also ensures that they have good setups on their network and addresses the areas that need to be addressed. I think we're going to see more and more projects do that, but I think there's a massive need from everything I've read in India for Wi-Fi for connectivity. So it's something I'm going to look into.
Yeah.
I had a couple of people comment on videos on some of my recent videos.
Yeah, me too.
About it, and the guy seemed to know what he was talking about. So so I'm going to definitely look into that. Actually, I have a call with them next Wednesday. Now that I think about it, because I posted that WeatherXM video and then we connected. So So Daba don't work like that. You buy and someone placed in India. That's what I just said, isn't it? Right?
Yeah, that's what you say. It might be behind for him, but
Okay. So I think I don't know. I don't think that's dumb, but I guess I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe I'm not thinking about it right.
I think it's dumb in the fact that, or not dumb, but it's just different than a typical DePIN project that we would be a part of. Usually, it's something we purchase and we actually set up and put out, and I think that's why I enjoy it a lot. I like being able to tinker with all this stuff and seeing all this hardware that has a value to it, that brings value to me. Like it's nice.
Yeah.
Versus NFT, I don't know. I like to have the hardware.
And you're big on mining. I know that.
Yeah, I mean that's how I started in 2017. I mined Bitcoin, and I don't know why I turned the device off, because it would have made me thousands of dollars, but I did. I ended up only making about. Actually, I don't know. You've been in the space for a while. When someone asks, "Well, how much money have you made overall?" I can't answer that question.
Yeah, it's hard to say, isn't it?
You're talking about probably over 100 accounts in the course of the past 7 years, and websites that I lost money on because the website just disappeared one night. You can't put a dollar amount on it.
Ugh.
Proof of work or bust. Although, the good thing about mining is it backs the token. Fundamentally, if you have people that are mining the token, you have a huge community that supports it. And a lot of people think that Ethereum shot itself in the foot because they decided to switch to proof of stake. Now, coins have been successful with proof of stake. Like Solana is a successful chain with proof of stake, but I think it's because they started it as a proof of stake coin versus Ethereum. It's like they switched halfway through, and a lot of the people that helped built it are now no longer supported. Ethereum was just insane how much you could make per day mining, and all of a sudden overnight it just disappeared, and there's people that was their livelihood. Now they don't make anything on it.
I know a few. Yeah. I think Solana is like proof of history or something a little bit slightly different. But yeah, so one of the problems for Ethereum right now is a lot of the layer 2s are getting a ton of usage, but they're the ones that are like getting a lot of the fees. So I don't think a lot of the fees a lot of that is not flowing down to Ethereum. So it'd be interesting to see how that all plays out. This guy said Wayru is basically Daba, but worldwide. That's interesting. Okay.
Wayru's it's a good concept for the consumer end. Pretty much you connect to the network, much like if you're at an airport and you have to watch an ad and then you get free internet. It's not lightning fast. I don't know if that depends on the connectivity that the operator has setting it all up, or if it's the router, if it's just throttled because it has to provide a connection to a bunch of people, but it's very simple.
What do you know about World Mobile?
I think I've heard of it, but that was it.
People love this project. They ask me about it all the time. I have not taken the time to look into it. But maybe I should. I don't know.
So the cell phone network, or?
It's a good question. It's not really clear.
Wireless networks owned by users.
Okay. Huh. Well, maybe it's worth looking into. People love this project. I see them posting about it all the time. I've had several people ask me to do videos on it, so I'll need to look at the white paper. Have to dig in and do my research. I can't really speak to it, unfortunately, because I have not taken the time to research it. I didn't know if you had, but
no.
All right.
That reminds me, my dad sent me some token. He texted me, and it sounded similar, reminding me of that, and it was just like a complete scam of a coin. It's like, have you heard about this? Someone was asking.
Look at this, man. GeoNet and GeoNet's and the
It's
600s.
ridiculous.
Demo's at 709. Where do you think these things are going to end up in the height of, where do you think the highest they'll end up as far as ranking scale in this bull run?
I don't want to pick favorites, but just because Demo's graphics are so much better, like from someone my age, like it's just so appealing to look at that versus GeoNet is more. Not everyone actually gets a use case out of it, but I think Demo has a lot more use case for the everyday average person. I think it's insane that it's been the project is doing so well and they're that low on the list. Like it could, I think it'll probably drop a digit.
Yeah. Well, like Helium dropped out of the top 100. That's crazy.
They were going back and forth for a very long time.
So you need to be about $1 billion right now. Okay. That's important to note is right now, because if you remember the last bull run, there's, $1 billion was like anyone could have created a coin and got there. It seemed that way there. But here's one thing someone called out, and I found this interesting, is that there's a lot more projects this time around for the liquidity to flow into. So I think for that, we were kind of talking about this earlier. I think that's why it is important to look at rotations and really pick good fundamental projects with good teams. Like the shotgun approach, I don't think is going to work this time around like it has in the past. The Streamer is another one I really like, by the way. I have a decent position in that one too.
I think I got a bunch of Streamer. That's the tricky part with a lot of these projects, like especially if you go to you're in the DePIN, you're in the DePIN filter. Some of these projects do the exact same thing. Like exactly to a T. So you got to figure out like the shotgun approach. Like you said, I don't think it's going to work either. Which out of the two, let's say you have two identical projects, which one do you pick? That's the $1 million question.
Yep. Like so we're kind of like with GeoNet, right? There's what's the other one? There's another RTK network. I'm trying to think what the name of it is. That I think the team's solid. Like right now my bet's on GeoNet, and it's mostly because
Onakoi,
yeah. I think Onakoi is probably a really good project. Okay, apparently the team's really good. I've actually heard that their platform's easier to use, but I like the first mover advantage. Okay, GeoNet has a lot of revenue coming through the door. They've built out a successful network, and so that's where I put my money. Now I could be wrong. Maybe Onakoi ends up winning out, but
if you look at previous, like Helium and Crank, Helium had its shining thing, and Crank came around. It's a better product, but it just doesn't have the support.
There's people in here saying that World Mobile is more professional than Helium Mobile. Huh? Could be. I mean, I don't know. I haven't looked into Rebelfi.
Oh no. No, Rebelfi is a scam.
What's Rebelfi? I've never even heard of that before. So
I covered it extensively on my channel a couple of years ago. I went to war with this company. They were threatening they were going to sue me.
So someone's trolling you in there?
Well, it's an ongoing joke. So when Helium blew up, it was awesome, and a lot of people were bummed because they missed the train, orders delayed, whatever it was. So they wanted to get into the next project, and this is pretty much when around COVID time. So a lot of people had a lot of money and they wanted to make money, and they wanted to do it with DePINs. This one DePIN pretty much spawned. It was a beautiful little egg in a nest. So this shitty company, Rebelfi, comes out, and a lot of companies came out during the same time, like GeoNet, Demo, all these companies started pretty much around the same time, but Rebelfi came out and it was aiming to do all of this and that. It's, a lot of people jumped on, including myself. I think I bought one, and a bunch of people on my server bought them because we wanted to be first in the next project, the next big project that would 10x, 100x, whatever. And the project just ended up falling apart. Orders never came through. They only actually created like 7 devices, and they got thousands of orders. Thousands.
Man.
They had a pre-sale for their token that you could buy their token, and that money is gone. Like, people spent a lot of money to get these tokens because they were selling them at a discounted price. All of it gone. I actually got my hands on one of these devices, and they said they partnered with the Olympics and NASA and NVIDIA and all of these things that just weren't true. And in the beginning, like we weren't really thinking too much of it, but once you really started to look in the project, you're like, what? partnered with NASA? How? Like, why would NASA partner with them? So yeah, a lot of people got burned. A lot of people ended up getting a refund through a dispute with their credit card company.
Yeah.
And there were some people that still haven't gotten anything, but it aimed to do so much. I made like a 45-minute PowerPoint presentation and presented it on YouTube for everything that they did, like fully documented. It was crazy.
I just got a text from one of my drivers in my fleet having trouble uploading imagery. Okay, so let's talk about some AI agents, unless you have any other DePIN projects you want to talk about.
I got sent one. Have you ever heard of Star Power?
No. What is that? Let's pull it up.
It's this little. Hold on. Let me get my the box I have for
it. This can't be it. Yeah. Over 999 trillion. That's not it. Okay. I don't know what that is. Yeah, the amount of projects that reach out, I look at them, like, I'm not attaching my name to that, but
I got sent this. They wanted me to make a video on it, and it's I don't know. It's just I have it plugged in right now. It's literally just a fancy smart outlet. Actually, I wouldn't even actually say it's fancy. It's actually pretty stupid.
Don't plug your phone into that. They're going to steal all your data.
Well, like, I love the idea behind smart switches, and I have my Wayru devices. This is nice. I get to use 2 crypto projects at once, but I have my Wayru, all of the Wayru devices plugged into this through an extension cord. And then if anytime one of them goes down, the water faucet. Anytime one of them goes down, I can just restart it. But the idea behind this project is somehow you earn their token through electricity usage. And as soon as I saw that, I was like,
I don't get that.
Exactly. So, it just sends your mind spiraling. Like, it doesn't even make sense.
No. Like, how are they trying to get people's electric usage data and monetize that in some way, shape, or form? I just don't get that.
Let me show you the app. Star Power app.
Okay.
This is the app.
Probably not going to download that one. But okay. Well, I don't know. Interesting.
Like, these buttons look like you can click them, but you can't. It's literally just a colorful, and you earn for. I don't get it.
That's funny, man. The less power I use, the more tokens, right? So just unplug it. He's got jokes. That's funny. The water faucet one's interesting too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Some really,
like, I already have this at the meter on my house. I get a bill every month with the exact power usage I use. Why would plugging in? Yeah. But it's nice to have an actual plug. I mean, to use it like a normal smart switch, you usually can just say, like, to your smart, like your Alexa or Google, like, to turn it on or off. But this one, it's literally, I have to go into the app and toggle this switch and then wait like 10 seconds and then toggle it back on. And that's it.
Well,
yeah. So enough about that.
Okay. Well,
I don't think I'm going to make a video on it.
No, probably not. Probably skip that one. But
I got one more.
Okay.
I'm a little pissed off about this project, honestly. They sent me a bunch of their sensors. It's called lithium.
What does that one do?
Well, I'll give you the the latest news. They shut down. They just shut down.
Shocking.
12/31 of 2024. They shut off the app, and the app was the only useful thing about their project. It's a bunch of sensors, and I actually have one on the door, which is nice because I live in a college house. I share the house, so when anytime someone comes in, it would send a notification to my phone, but it didn't work. It didn't send a notification every time, and it would be like false positives. It would send me notifications, like when I'm in my room and my door is not open. So a little disappointed about that project. They wanted me to make a video. I recorded a video, and then I didn't upload it because after watching it, I was like, it wasn't even, it like hurt them. It didn't even talk about anything that the project did. I tried, I couldn't do it.
You're like, man, I got to post this before they go out of business.
Yeah, I'm glad I didn't post it because now looking back on it, then I had to make a follow-up video saying, oh, this company, I actually had to do that with a project, Gray Market. They just ran away with money. I got a call from the SEC about it, and I made a whole video about the whole thing, and that's the next to be uploaded. But it's annoying when projects suck and you cover them saying they didn't suck.
Yeah. I mean, I try, and I've had a lot of projects reach out and they're like, yeah, do a video, blah, blah, blah. It's like, I try really, really hard. And obviously nothing we do is financial advice, but at the same time, like, I try only, well, I do only cover projects that I'm personally invested in. And, I look really diligently at their team, at their white paper. I mean, I do a ton of research before I cover anything. Not to say that I'm going to be right though, either. I mean, you never know, but I try to do my best at least. Have you heard of this one, Cookie Dow? So
anything with the word Dow in it, I kind of stay away from past experiences.
I get that. This is so for AI agents. Okay. This thing popped off. I think it must have gone like a Binance listing or something. Look at that wick. So this thing has just gone absolutely crazy. If you look at their website, they track all the AI agents in the different platforms. So the way it works, I believe, if you hold enough of their token, you get access to all their premium features.
It's like crypto.com.
Okay. I don't have any CRO token, but is that how that works? You get access to
the more tokens you hold. Nexo did it too. And Binance, BNB, more fundamental, but like if you hold the token, you get benefits.
Yeah, I used to hold BNB because you get like cheaper transactions and stuff. Yeah. So yeah, similar thought process. I think we're starting to see a massive rotation of AI agents. I think we're going to see a lot of liquidity move from meme coins this year into AI agents. I think it's the new alpha.
Is Farcoin an AI agent, or is that?
It is. It was launched by. It was actually launched by an AI agent. So we're starting to see some crazy shit, man. Like these AI agents are launching their own tokens. They're starting to interact with each other.
So AI agent like that's basically a artificial intelligence that created it, is what you're saying?
Yeah. So like I'll give you an example. If we look at like Polytrader. This is an intro. This is one that I have a position in. It's an AI agent. It's all automated. It sends out its own tweets, and it basically puts out the probabilities on different bets on Poly.
On Poly Market.
On Poly Market. So this one's super interesting. It just had a pretty big pullback too. Well, let's just go to the virtual site. So virtual is the leader of the pack right now. It's on base. Dude, I covered game in October on my channel on an update at 10 million market cap. It's done in like a 22x. I wish I had taken enough and not taken as many profits as I did. Anyway, so this is like the top mind share on Twitter right now. This thing, it got a Binance listing yesterday. It whipped up like 100 million in a matter of minutes. Freaking nuts. So this is like the stuff we're seeing. Sequoia, if you hold that, you get a lot of airdrops. So Polytrader, it's up today, but if you look at, there's a big correction in this whole ecosystem over the last week or so. We've seen a massive correction. So again, you see this thing got up to around like 40 million market cap. It's down now to around 20. So Poly is one that I hold. Here's the thing that sucks though, is like back in October, when this thing started to take off, you could have literally just invested in any of their top agents. Like I'm in Sistine Research. He's on Twitter. I have a subscription to his content and his Discord. A lot of those guys made millions. Since October, a lot of them. They basically just aped a lot of these at like 200, 300, 400,000 market cap as the platform was taking off, and look at where they're at now.
Yeah, that's incredible.
So, at that point, you could just invest in any of the AI agents and they'd go crazy. Now we're seeing, I think, a lot of the grifters from Solana meme coins are coming over and just creating these things and rug pulling people. So you really have to do your due diligence.
That's annoying.
You have to look at the team. Guan's another one that's really interesting. Apparently, they have a really solid team. It's corrected down to 10 million. Music's another one. So, I think a lot of these can do really, really well over the next, I think in 2025.
Trust me, bro.
Dude. So what's wild about this, one of the things I've been looking at, it is hilarious, but looking at mindshare. So you see AIXBT is the top. I've been looking, and I don't know if this is going to prove to work or not, but I've been looking at basically mindshare to market cap ratios. So define undervalued ones. Trust Me Rose is up there. It's got 0.8% mindshare. It's only a 8.73 million market cap. It's quite an outlier from the rest of these.
Yeah. What is mindshare?
So I believe it's the amount of, and you have to look into more on this, but I believe it's the amount of basically interaction or social interaction that they get, I think.
Okay. That's weird. It tells you the amount of followers on the right. This is weird stats to provide.
Yeah. So this site's pretty cool. So that's one of the things I'm starting to look at now is, okay, which of these are an outlier that have good mind share and low market caps? I don't know what this one is. Peni.
That's awesome.
I don't know.
Yeah.
There's some interesting ones in here though. Now what I'm doing right now though, and I do have some exposure to virtuals. I think virtuals. So Forrest of Sistine Research, he's been beating the drum of virtuals since spring of 2024. So about almost a year ago. And it was sitting at like $5 to $10 million market cap for a while. It's at 3 billion now. So that thing is done like a 300x. I think it can get to 10 to 15 billion potentially. And I think it will be the leader of the pack. And you'll see here. So virtual, just for representation, this is from Meme Radar, is a guy on Twitter. So virtual is like the leading platforms on Base. You have the AI16Z, that is the Solana one. But two I'm looking at, I haven't looked at this one too much, the Vaifu, but I've looked at Top Hat and Creator Bid. So these are, so I'm looking, my thought is, okay, I think that there's gonna be a huge rotation into AI agents. If I can get some positions in some of these up and coming platforms, Creator Bid is interesting. So it's on Base. I have positions in most of the top ones here. This one, Bill and I, by the way, is being run on Dynex. So that's the compute behind Bill and I. So this one is doing analysis on sports betting. DKing.
Oh yeah.
So I think how
accurate is that?
I don't know. I think they're saying one of them was hitting 60%. I'm not sure. So again, we'll have to see how some of these play out, how they get trained. But I believe this is where the new alpha is going to be. We're seeing the rotation already. We've seen a nice correction over the last week. And I think meme coins, people are getting exhausted on those. I think we're going to see a lot of that filter over into AI agents. So that's where I've been spending a lot of time researching this on where I think now, again, it's only like 5% of my portfolio. These are my moon bags. This is like kind of looking at the rotation, the narrative. Most of my allocations in Bitcoin and DePIN, but just I think it's worth covering because I think people are going to make a lot of freaking money on these AI agents. But again, we're still in the early periods.
You see the cheese one on Waifu? It's a mouse Pepe that has me dying. That's so stupid, dude.
Oh man, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Some people are so creative. I love it.
Some of these are legit though, like Game. Okay, they're going to be. You're basically going to be able to get exposure to Web3 gaming with AI agents. Like they're forming a lot of different partnerships. I think this one again, I covered it 10 million. It's on 22x. We could see this thing get into billion market cap. It'd be 100x from when I covered it. Like some of these are going to pop off. I don't know which ones, but that's why I'm taking the time to try to research it and figure out and take some positions as a moon bag. And with the understanding that, hey, these are incredibly high risk, they can go to zero, but there's also, I think, potential if you can get in. I mean, think about some of the meme coins last year. I mean, people that made a lot of money. I think this is where things are rotating too.
Oh yeah. Like you said earlier, coin market cap right now, $1 billion is like a low, but once the bull run hits, I mean, it's in full swing. $1 billion market cap is going to be very achievable for, I don't want to say almost every project, but any project that puts in a little bit of effort, like it's going to be insane. So I think with that one you just mentioned, $1 billion market cap, easy.
Yeah, I agree. And this site too, I just found this right before we came on, AI agent toolkit.xyz. So this shows you like the framework, the agents. It gives you like a lot of detail on what they're doing. Wow. So yeah, so I haven't had a chance to look into these yet, but this is probably a really good resource if you want to get exposure here. Yeah, there's some REI's one that a lot of people are really bullish on right now.
Are these pretty much all like where are they all providing their data? Is it mostly on X? They're just bots on X that are doing stuff?
Some of them, but some of them are frameworks. So I think we're going to get to the point where you have, again, like there's going to be agent platforms that you can have manage your portfolio for you, where they'll enter positions, exit positions, and you're going to have AI agents that you can just instruct, hey, get me a position in this, and it'll do it for you. So, again, we're removing the friction for people that are having that. It's difficult, right?
It is.
If you're new into the space, I mean, even some of the I had to get a project on ZK Sync yesterday, and it took me a minute to figure out how to bridge assets and get having agents to do that is going to be a game changer. And some of these infrastructure plays that are really going to be critical, I think it'd be huge. When's the OnlyFans agent, dude? There's going to be one. I guarantee there's going to be something like that. And
buy and sell based on your preferences.
It's probably going to do really well.
It's going to be crazy.
Someone's going to get rich off of that.
So that's going to come out, and then it's going to somehow go bad and release everyone's preferences for what they're interested in. It's going to be just like that South Park episode.
This is what I need to look at. Okay. The launch pad.
Interesting.
So here's the deal. So the launch pads, like virtuals, for example, you have the Waifu, you have Creator Bid. There's a lot on here I haven't looked at, but here's where people made a lot of money on virtuals. Okay,
Swarmnode. I think Swarmnode has been reaching out to me.
It's probably worth looking at, man. I've been spending a lot of time. I mean, obviously most of my time goes to research and DePIN, but I've been spending a fair amount of time looking at these two, just because I think there's going to be a lot of opportunity in this part of the market cycle for AI agents. But I think the move here is, because this is what happened with virtuals, right? People bought the virtual token. The token went parabolic, and then you then can rotate that. You turn your money. I mean, you take that token and you can then buy a bunch of the agents on their platform that are, spread them out over those agents and kind of double down. And that's where a lot of these guys over at Sistine Research, like, again, a lot of those guys made multiple seven figures just since October from a very small amount. So I think it's certainly possible. And then again, my plan would be just to pull profits and move into my DePIN positions. And then, over the next few months, by the way, I am starting to take, I already started actually. I did take some profits at the end of last year on that pump, but moving money into my stablecoin position for the bear market. I also have businesses I'm building outside of crypto that I'm going to be moving assets into as well. So
shit. Dude, Swarm is legit. See, this is the issue sometimes with a lot of the emails I get is there's just so many. You're like, you don't look in out. That might be a different project.
Swarmnode.ai.
I'm looking at Swarm, so they made Network.ai is the one that messaged me, but they have 325,000 followers on X.
Huh.
But that's crazy. Yeah.
Oh, they're also going to have, on-chain AI agents that will be able to identify rug pulls and be able to look at like the code and everything. So
yeah,
the game is about to change. And again, I think we're very, very early on this. So I am planning on taking a lot of time over the next couple of weeks, month. I already have a lot of positions, but
yeah,
I think it's going to be well worth the research right now. And I think in a few months from now, we'll be looking back like, oh yeah, that was the play.
Yeah, being able to identify rug pulls is probably the biggest issue with crypto. Mm-hmm. And I think governments want a solution. And if this pans out, especially with the Bitcoin reserve that Trump is planning on starting and the U.S. government getting bigger into crypto, having something like this, like it could be regulated, having an agent that can do all this stuff.
For sure. Yeah. And it's not just in crypto, man. We're seeing the AI agents in like the Web2 traditional business. We're going to see a lot of jobs replaced here pretty soon. Like
I already have my current job. We're using this software that it's just like basic OCR, character recognition, but we have been training it at work. Like when it pulls up a number, we have to confirm that it's correct. Like we're training our replacements. It's weird.
It's wild, man. And it's happening quickly. That's the one thing where AI I think is going to have a huge impact. Here's one I found that is interesting, and they're gaining a lot of new followers. This is an AI therapist. They just got a $10 million grant to be able to like train it and have more
to talk.
Have like I guess improve the ability for it to have conversations. So this one's sitting at they just raised $10 million, and let's just take a look at the market cap on this one.
619. We talked about the Bitcoin in the very beginning. The government, we don't think they're going to sell it. I mean, 10 days away. If you really care about the people, and
we'll see.
Yeah,
I
don't know why.
I hope they don't. It'd be a huge FU to the next administration if they. I mean, we're literally 10 days away.
Yeah, 10 days.
I mean, come on.
I don't think Biden is going to do that.
We'll see, man. Either way, if it does happen, it's short-term volatility, and I don't think it's going to impact things in the longer-term scale. But it is going to be a good opportunity to get better positions, I think.
Absolutely.
But I hope it doesn't happen. So this one, I looked at it. It was like $3 million earlier. It's a $4 million market cap. They just raised $10 million to develop the AI agent. So this one's interesting. It's on Solana. I don't know. We'll see. But again, all these are super risky. So just the way I'm looking at it is this my moon bag. It's a small percentage of my portfolio. you can, I hope to make it big on something, but it's also money. I'm like, if it's gone, it's gone. That's why it's a small percentage. So, but I do think the AI agent thing is heating up, and base chain is heating up. Like we're seeing a lot of liquidity move over to base right now. Demo just moved over to base, by the way.
Is it official?
Mm-hmm.
They launched on base yet, or just the announcement?
I don't know if they launched their token yet, or moved their token over yet, but it is official. They're moving for sure. Rob and I talked about it in our interview. Like it's absolutely happening. Yeah.
Is Base owned by Coinbase? Is that?
It's Coinbase is a big investor in it, but it's not like technically. I don't believe it's a layer 2 on Ethereum. So
this is built on optimism.
The optimism is on ETH though too, right? Or no?
Oh wait, no. This is actually owned by Coinbase.
Base?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought they were just like massive investors. I didn't know that they were officially the owners of it, but
that's nice because
they don't have a token though.
No, there is no base token. I think I sent you a message about it.
Yeah, you're like, I bought this base. I was like, that's not a
random ass token, and it ended up doing pretty well for a bit, and then it absolutely just tanked. But I sold after I made it a little bit. That was funny. I was like, oh, I was telling people about it. It's like, this is gonna be huge because when a layer 1, layer 2, whatever it may be, when they have their own token, they do amazing. Always. That's why I have a big bag of Avalanche. I'm waiting for Avalanche to go back up. But I feel like no one uses Avalanche anymore. It was the chain of the previous bull run. Everyone's on a few of them. It's either going to be Base. Everyone shifted from Polygon. There was a couple projects on, I think the last one that is on Polygon is Demo and GeoNet.
Yeah.
But
and GeoNet just launched
GeoNet's on
Solana compatibility.
Yeah. So they're all shifting over.
Yeah. Base is gonna be huge. And it's super easy to transact on, by the way. Like you just need a little bit of Ethereum on Base for gas. But if you have like $1 worth, you can do like, it's kind of like Polygon. You can do like 1 million transactions.
Yeah. And if you have anything on Coinbase, you can send it via Base. Well, not anything, but if you have Ethereum, you can send it via Base. And I think having Coinbase, I know a lot of people are against the centralization fact of this, but the blockchain itself isn't going to be centralized. It also is going to open the door because people are going to see Coinbase, government trusts Coinbase. Coinbase works with the government a lot to create a lot of these laws and regulation. I think I think Coinbase is going to be massive over the next 4 years with the with the next administration, with regulating and getting everything set. They're probably going to give Trump a crash course on crypto. I think having their own chain now is going to be, people are going to trust it. People are going to trust things built on this chain.
For sure. Yeah. Rob, when I interviewed him, said as much. He's like, look, us moving over there, he said the developer tools are incredible. They said that the devs they have working on Base are unreal. He's like, the amount of building they're doing is crazy. But he also said, because they're trying to get in with, some large vehicle manufacturers. He's like, it's going to help tremendously in getting in with those companies because it's a trusted chain by Web2 companies. There's another one I took a position in, Hive Intelligence. I believe it's like a AI agent structural play. So that one's good. Here's another one. This is the one I had to go on ZK Sync for. So let me pull them up.
You had to go deep into the depths of the internet.
Yeah, but
those are usually the gems.
100%. Man, their follower account is mooning right now. Funny. They are about to go move over to Base. So I'm in one of my Discords I'm in, there's a dev that was working in conjunction with this project. Apparently Base offered to to buy the tokens to create liquidity, like $2 million worth of tokens on this project, just to create a liquidity pool because they want them to move over to base. So this is an infrastructure play in AI. It's already I got in at like 6.5 million market cap. Last I looked, it was at like 8 million. Let's see where it's at today.
Yeah, what was the random site? You said ZK Sync?
No, that's the chain that it's on. It's at 8.5 million already. So I got in. It's already, I got in like 6 million. So it's up quite a bit. And when they move to base AIWS, I think this thing's gonna freaking moon. So they're an infrastructure play, but they're like, again, they're working with AI agents and basically helping to integrate them into like Web2 companies, I believe. So I listen to their spaces. My brain is a little bit overloaded right now, man. I've been like after I missed out on some of the stuff on virtuals, like, because I knew about virtuals, but I was traveling so much at the end of last year and I was so focused on getting videos out. Missing that, I was like, yeah, that's not going to happen again. So like I've been basically now, and I have a couple weekend trips, but other than that, like I'm dialed in like 16 hours a day, just researching, finding opportunities. And right now is the time to do it.
These AI agents are like hurting my head trying to wrap my mind around them. You've just been talking about them for like 40 minutes. And I'm still trying to figure out what the word AI agent means. Like, there's so many, and they do so many things. It's insane.
Well, I have a buddy that he's selling AI agent services to what traditional companies right now, and he's in commission only jobs. He's working for 3 different companies at the same time. And just like selling the shit out of these AI agents, and like he can sell for all 3 companies to certain customers. He's just crushing it right now. So this is where I think we're going to see. And again, the CEO for NVIDIA came out and was like, "This is a multi-trillion-dollar deal. Like AI agents, the next big thing." So I believe for 2025, it's going to be one of the leading narratives for crypto. So I think it's worth at least taking a look into. And I'm spending a lot of time researching it. DePIN, again, is still like where my main positions are.
Yeah.
But I believe there are some parabolic moves coming in the AI agent space. And overall market sentiment, like I don't know. We could see more downside ahead leading up to the inauguration.
If they sell that, it all depends on if they sell that Bitcoin, I think.
Yeah, I agree. It's the overall economy is also like kind of questionable right now. They keep saying the job numbers are great, and they revise them down. They revised like 23 out of the last 25 job reports downward, which is just like absolutely crazy. Yeah. We're seeing inflation kind of ticking back up. I think we're in a position where there's I don't know if you saw this. A lot of financial institutions revised today saying that they don't expect any more rate cuts in 2025. Some are expecting a couple. The first one would be in June. So I think the market's obviously reacted to that as well. But I mean, I think we're in a position where it's like we have to decide: are we going to let the stock market crash and not cut rates and not add liquidity to the markets, or are we going to add liquidity to the markets, move the market up, and at the risk of inflation is going to come back? And my bet is that we're going to print money. We're going to lower rates because Trump is, and it's the same with his last presidency. He judges his success based on the stock market.
Yeah.
So I think we're just going to like deal with inflation. And I think that that's actually going to be a better case even than we already have for Bitcoin. So that's how I see it playing out. But who knows, man? Like at any given time, there's a lot of commercial real estate right now that has to be refinanced, and the rate, even though the Fed's been lowering rates, the longer term rates are going up, and so that's not a good thing. And we have a lot of national debt too that has to be refinanced, so not good.
There's a lot of money that needs to be made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think we're in the right place at the right time, man. I'm excited. I know it's been a little bit grueling the last week looking at how much your portfolio is down, or at least for me. But
I lost track of what I entered at, so that's the way to go.
Yeah.
Because then you can't lose money if you don't remember how much you put in.
What do they say? You don't lose money unless you sell. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was great advice. In the last bear market, I just held a bunch of them instead, and was down 90% for 2 years, 3 years.
That's something I want to learn how to do in going into the next bear market. Is there's some coins I need to let go. It's like the same. It probably makes sense actually. I have the same issue with like clothes. Like there's some clothes I just hold on to, or just stuff in general. I hold on to it because I'm like, oh, I'll use it. I'm not going to use it. I'm not going to use it. Get rid of it. I need to do that with a lot of these tokens because there's some tokens that, like helium, great example. I held on to it. I just held on to it too long. It was just the emotional part of it that, like this AI agent, if you could have one that can manage your portfolio, it'd be insane. It'd be great.
Yeah.
So I don't have to deal with the thought in my head like, oh, this project could do better. No, look at the market trend and be logical here. Sell.
The way a lot of those agents work, by the way, is like in order to utilize the service of the agent, you have to hold a certain amount of tokens. So that's kind of what creates the buying pressure of the token. I sold off. So there's several projects that I was way down on, in the last bear market. I sold them off and consolidated, but you also get losses for your taxes by doing that, by closing your position down. I kind of cut bait on some of them, consolidated into, my high conviction plays. So, I had overextended myself in the last market cycle, which is really easy to do, especially when the markets are going parabolic and you get super excited and you like want to hop on every freaking project. That's a dangerous game, man. I like the vast majority of my portfolio again is in Bitcoin and DePIN. All of my DePIN positions are things I've been building for years that I have very high conviction for, that I've done a lot of research on. Now I have this small moon bag that I'm just like throwing shit around to see what happens.
Yeah.
But again, the goal there is to make a lot of money to move into building my DePIN positions further, also pull money out of the market for the next bear market, and to invest in my businesses outside of crypto.
Yeah.
So, consolidating is a good thing into your conviction plays, especially this market cycle, because as we stated earlier, there's way more projects this time around. And I think the liquidity is going to be spread out a lot more. So you can't just do that shotgun approach, man. Like I think you have to be a lot more strategic this time.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. There's some projects I have, like Caspa. I don't know if you know about that one, but I bought Caspa, I got a pretty good bag, and I bought it when it was worthless. So I don't follow the project at all. The only information I get about it is when I see my friends talking about it on X. But that's another issue I have, is some of these projects I researched at the time, and now I don't know, should I sell or should I hold, because it's been so long and it's not it's not something that I'm interested in watching.
I think Caspa's done well. I like the way I look at it is if one of the things in my portfolio pumps to the point where it becomes like an overwhelming percentage of my portfolio, generally I'll rotate some of that into some of my other positions or into profits. So I don't have too much exposure to one project in my portfolio. Because I've had that happen, right? Where I'm in a project that goes absolutely crazy. I like to have a little bit of diversification, not too much diversification, but certainly some diversification, so you're not overexposed to one project.
Yeah. I don't have. A lot is about $1,500. So I don't know how big you're talking here, but these numbers are not. I don't think what you're thinking of.
Yeah. It's all relative.
Yeah.
When I say like a large part of your portfolio, I mean like percentage wise.
Yeah. Like I have a bunch of Algorand as well. Algorand I have. Wait. I might have all that Algorand from Planet Watch from the licenses that I got refunded. But it's up big time. I was always wondering how I got all this Algorand.
Algo is a great chain, man. Like it's super fast, super cheap. It's a great blockchain. I just don't know what's being built on it. Like, I assume stuff is that I just don't know about. But
they have a pretty cool DEX called Tiny Man. I call it Tiny Boy. It's cool because with the app, you just like scan a QR code, communicate to transact and stuff. It's very like new world. It's cool.
I like Algo. I used to, so when I would like send money from exchange to my wallet or from exchange to exchange, sometimes I would just do it through Algo because it was so cheap.
Yeah, it's cheap and fast.
Yeah, cheap and fast.
But now there's so many chains that are just as fast. Phantom or Solana, not Phantom. Solana is just ridiculously fast now.
Phantom rebranded. The Phantom chain, not Phantom wallet.
Phantom chain.
FANTOM. So that one.
Oh yes, blue. They were blue, right?
Yeah.
FTM.
Yeah. I think they're like Sonic chain or something. Yeah. So that they rebranded, but apparently, I think a lot of these will pump again. Phantom Wallet, by the way, did add support for base chain in it recently. So like I have my for my Moonbag wallet, I have both my Solana and base plays and Phantom. So
super easy to swap too. You can swap cross chain.
Super easy. Super easy.
One of the trending tokens right now is ridiculous.
Is that why I'm seeing so many Sonic meme coins? Probably. Yeah. I think
you can read that.
What is that?
I'm not going to read it out.
3.
The name of the token.
Yeah. He says, otherwise we have so many Sonic meme. I think people do just create meme coins that have the same name in hopes that people accidentally buy it. I swear, I think people do that. Like,
oh yeah,
people accidentally buy that shit. Like when you bought base.
Yeah. But it wasn't even I don't even think it was a meme coin. It was like an exchange built on base. But of course they have to launch the token naming it the same damn thing.
Yeah. That's hilarious.
That's stupid. I've never been bamboozled so hard.
Oh.
Right now, this is something that you probably will never have to deal with. But so with my ASIC miner, I can merge mine. Basically mines all of the coins at the same time. And they add new coins on the pool that I'm a part of all the time. So they added Pepe coin and they just added Shiba Inu coin. Now these coins are not Pepe coin and Shiba Inu coin that you know. Why did I say it like I'm Canadian? That you know. It's not the ones on the top 100 list. These are separate coins that are made on the script algorithm that are pretty much clones, and people buy them because they think it's the same thing, but it's not. Crazy. I think it is nice that there are mineable coins because I think if you want a meme coin to last, I think it should be mineable. Like Shiba Inu, if it's planning to copy Dogecoin, I think it should have been a script-based coin, but and Pepe coin also. So they might be doing the right thing, but it's messed up that you can create the same thing. I feel like there should be a restriction for coins that are top 100 or that have like a certain market cap. They should have like a restriction on the chain that doesn't let you create the exact same name. But that would ruin crypto if they did that.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of like defeats the whole purpose of it.
Maybe they can add some sort of maybe Phantom itself can add some sort of verified check symbol like they have on X for certain coins, because Phantom has support for so many different chains now.
Maybe we'll just have AI agents tell us.
Yeah, or that.
Oh man,
that's so confusing. I don't want to think about that too much. Just tell me the one to get into, because that it's like trying to explain to my grandparents how crypto works.
I do think, by the way, was it hat?
And I'm not selling my Litecoin 619. I'm holding it. I'm currently actually acquiring more.
Where'd that damn picture go?
I had Trezor just send me a bunch of stuff. I got it all back there.
Where'd that picture go?
That was sick. They sent me I got the all new hardware wallet. You got to make a video on it.
Huh.
The Trezor Safe 5.
Anyway, the two ones that I'm like the two earlier stage platforms I'm looking at are CreatorBid and Top Hat. And apparently, Hat is about to get a big exchange listing based on on-chain. So I think Hat could be an interesting one. But either way, man, a lot of them are going to be BS. But I think there's going to be some that do really, really well. So I'm going to be dialing in on that. And then I've got a video I'm going to be working on for Exhibits. And then I'm going to be doing one on Daba. And I have an interview with Dynex towards the end of this month set up. So I'm excited about that. I like Dynex, man. I think they're doing some cool stuff. So
Dynex is nice. They've been around for a long time, right?
They've been around for a while. They're using like neuromorphic computing. So like quantum as a service. They're like a $20 million. Let's see.
I'm thinking of Digibyte.
There's so many freaking ones out there. Let's hear it. Let's hear it. That's what's like crazy. Like last Microsoft, there were a lot. There's like just like so many different projects. Yeah, dude. Well, hold on.
Digibyte's birthday is today.
Dynex. What's Dynex sitting at? Dynex is sitting at $20 million market cap. Come on, man. Get out of here. So I've been adding. They have a wrap token on Ethereum. I need to add more. I like that project. They're down. Yeah, that's good dips, man. Anyway, well, we're coming up on a couple hours, so I guess we can
happens.
Cut out. Yeah. This is fun. This is good, man. We got to do this more often. And how's your podcast coming along? Pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, lately it's just been you, but I honestly haven't been. I got my CPA exam coming up on the 27th, so I've just been focusing heavily on that, and that's pretty much become my life. Although I'm not doing a very good job studying. I have like two sections left, and then I can start taking all the practice exams, and it's a 4-hour exam. So I got to take like 5 4-hour practice exams to get ready for the exam.
F that, bro.
It's a lot. Yeah. And I there's 4 sections too. So I got to, over the course of the next 18 months, if I pass this one, I got to take the next 3. But podcasts, I mean, I got to get more people on. Got to get more projects.
Well, you got a lot going on, man. But yeah, right now I'm like, the next few months, I'm gonna be a freaking hermit. Like I said, I've got like a weekend trip to North Carolina. February, I'm going to Waste Management tour, and then potentially down to
Waste Man.
The golf tournament.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you were going on like a tour of the waste management facilities. Like what?
Nah. But yeah, so got that going on, and then March, man, we might go down. I might join you down in Florida.
I might be doomed.
Yeah,
I have to wait for my staffing schedule to come out to see if I'm okay to go. But like, I talked to my boss, and I talked to 2 of my bosses. One of them was like, "Dude, just send the email saying you're taking PTO." The other one was like, "Let's wait because I don't want to, leave people behind, but like leave work to a bunch of people." But I feel like I should be fine. The only thing that's going to hurt is now that I'm waiting is flights are going to go up. But maybe I was thinking about when I'm down there, just renting a Tesla or something fun. Let's get a fun vehicle to. Maybe I can install the demo app on the Tesla too, and then hand it back.
They wouldn't know it probably. I tell you, I got an EV. I got a Rivian like a year ago, and I can't imagine going back to a gas car.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I freaking love it. It is awesome, man. But yeah, it'd be cool. Yeah, let me know about that conference because I'll get down there. My mom lives in St. Pete, so make a trip out of it. Go and visit her too. So
you should get a Fisker. Have you heard about those?
I know Fisker. Yeah, I actually did a project on the Fisker Karma when I was in college
because they went out of business.
Yeah, they went under.
I've been seeing him on the road, and then all of a sudden I stopped seeing him. I was like, oh. And then I saw a YouTube video of this guy. I forget the name of his channel, but he bought one because it was essentially salvaged. Had a normal title, but they just couldn't get it. They couldn't fix it. It was like such a simple fix. It was literally the charger port had an issue with it, and they couldn't get it to open no matter what. And when they did get it to open, there was a lever that wouldn't allow it to engage and actually charge, and that was the only issue with the whole car.
I did a project on Fisker Karma when I was in college. That's a while ago now, but yeah, man. So he asked how long. So here's the deal, and I actually have a funny story behind this, and we can kind of close out with that. But so day-to-day use, I charge at home. So I can get up to, on a full charge, I can get up to 330 miles or so. But you charge 70% for day-to-day use for battery health, right? But that does everything I need to do. Now, when I go back to St. Louis or longer travel, that's where it can be a little bit of annoying, especially in cold weather. Okay, so the range drastically drops off in cold weather.
Oh yeah.
And so I just gotten my vehicle is probably 2 weeks after I got it, and I was heading back to St. Louis, but I had to work, still working in the solar industry at the time. So I was at a work holiday party for one of my clients. And it was out in the middle of freaking nowhere. So I get out there and my battery is just like getting cashed out. And I finally leave at like 11 p.m. and I still have to get back to St. Louis. And it's another probably like 4.5 hours. Okay. With charging and everything. But I didn't have enough range to continue on to St. Louis. So it had me double back towards Chicago. I'm like, this fucking sucks. So, and I'm exhausted. So I find a place to charge. It's like in the middle of nowhere at this like gas station that's closed, and I'm charging and I'm like, man, I have to piss so bad. And there's no bathrooms around. So I'm like, whatever, no one's around. So I get out and I take a piss, and mind you, it's like super cold outside. Get back in, fall asleep. And I'm like, finally, my car is charged. I can get going for the rest of my trip. I walk outside out of my car, and my piss had frozen. I literally slipped and fell on my ass on my own piss. I'm like, I'm so mad right now. Like, this sucks. I was like, and I still have another 4 hours to drive. So that's the part that sucks about having an EV. Next time I'll piss further away from my car. But cold weather charging is rough. But day-to-day use, man, I love it. It's freaking fast. It's 0 to 60 in like 3 seconds flat. And it's an SUV. I got the Rivian R1S.
You have the truck, or you have the SUV version?
I have the R1S, the SUV version. And it is super cool, man. I love it.
Nice.
They're built in it. What's that?
You got your Demo app on that, or?
Oh yeah. Yeah, of course.
Car 251 right there.
Yeah, and I'm mapping it too. I got my Hive mapper up there.
Nice. Yeah.
They're built in Illinois, actually. So
the Rivian?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
So I drive through where it's built every time I go to St. Louis. But it's pretty freaking cool. But
I've been shopping for cars. I always am looking at cars and houses, and I'm seeing Teslas are coming pretty cheap. So I don't know. Yeah. Maybe. I'm still like against. Like, I love my truck. I don't think I'd ever sell my vehicle, but I'd probably get a second one. Right?
A second what?
A second vehicle. If I get a second vehicle, it'd probably be like either a newer Corolla or a Tesla.
Teslas are cool, man. I have a lot of friends that have Teslas.
Yeah, I drove one before. It was a rocket ship. And it's just nice. Like the sound system is awesome. It's got, I like the tech. I mean,
You're in it for the tech.
yeah, pretty much.
This guy, he said he had 330,000 miles on his Prius. Damn.
I almost
All
got
right.
200,000 on mine. I
That's
got like
legit.
1,000 miles to go. I don't
Yeah,
have a Prius, so.
I had a 2012 Altima before I got my Rivian. So I traded it in, and I'm inside like signing the paperwork, and they're like, "Oh, you have a trade in?" I'm like, "Yeah." So we go out. Oops. We go out, and we're standing right in front of my Altima, and they're like, "So where's your trade in?" I'm like, "That's it." And it was like old 2012. It was kind of like beat up and stuff. And they're like, "Oh, quite an upgrade." It was like, "Yeah." Like, yeah, it is. All right.
Heated seats.
Hey, man, it was the first time I had a backup camera on a car. It's pretty cool.
With
Pretty
the
cool
Rivian?
stuff. Oh yeah, my prior cars, I've always driven beaters. So,
I've installed so much in my car. I got a backup camera, Apple CarPlay. That's why I'm like, I don't need. My car is 2004, but I don't need a new vehicle right now. It's just an expense that I don't need to especially with all the loans I got to deal with.
It's not a smart investment by any means, but I live pretty frugal, and I was like, you know what, man, I work my ass off, so I'm gonna buy some.
You deserve to have nice things.
Yeah.
That's what I tell myself before I make a nice purchase. I deserve to have stuff.
Yeah.
Like I bought the newest phone. Well, I don't have the brand new one because the newest one is completely pointless. There's no reason to upgrade from I think this is a 15 Pro, but I bought it and I was like, I deserve to have a new phone. I use it all the time.
That is true. I was actually talking to somebody about that where they had like a 6-year-old phone. I'm like, how does that thing even hold a charge? They're like, oh, it doesn't. Like they're literally charging their phone everywhere they go.
Yeah.
I'm like, why not upgrade your phone? They're like, well, it's just like out of principle. I'm like, you use your phone probably more than anything in your life. Like when I look at spending money on things, generally I look at it as a cost per use. So, if it's something that I'm going to use a lot, then, I'm like, I'll spend up on something. But, for like little ancillary things, and I'm a lot more frugal. But yeah, man, like use your phone all the time. I think it's worth, if you can do it, upgrading your phone.
Yeah, I pretty much put money into like this whole setup. I put a bit of money into it, and the company gave me a little stipend for it. But I'm here every day. I'm gonna be here. I'm gonna be sitting at this desk every day. I hand built this desk. I'm gonna be sitting here for the rest of my life probably with this desk. So I might as well spend some time and get some nice shit.
Is that why you have desk building videos popping up on your YouTube channel?
I watch a lot of construction stuff. I'm a very hands-on guy, so that's probably why. Yeah.
Hey man, that's cool. That's rare for your generation for sure. I mean, that's like
I know. I don't know anybody else like me, and if anyone else needs help, they always call me for everything. I'm the fixer, the fixer and the builder.
It's a good thing, man, especially with how expensive labor rates are now. Shoot.
Yeah, so I was actually. The cabinet building video I was looking at, because when I move back home, I want to build, like, I have a closet where like my 3D printer is, and I think I'm just going to get rid of all that stuff because like my 3D printer is so old. It doesn't the tech now is so much better than when I bought this thing in like 2016, 2015. So I wanted to build like cabinets, like a nice whole like thing in this closet and make it like a dedicated crypto space, which would be nice.
Yeah, I've never had a 3D printer. Oh, speaking of 3D printers, did you know that the gun that guy used to kill that CEO was a 3D printed gun? I did not know that. I was watching that, like, it's a short documentary on that. Apparently, they seize like 20,000 3D printed guns at crime scenes a year now. I had no idea that was even a thing.
Incredibly easy to make. We can talk about it off camera.
Yeah, that's frightening, man. That's scary stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah. I guess the main takeaway from this live stream, if it's freezing outside, don't piss next to your car. All right.
Solid advice.
Yeah, I learned that the hard way. But in all seriousness, y'all, I'm very excited for what is going to come. I think the DePIN space, I think the rotation is going to happen. I believe from a legislative standpoint, and the fact that we have GeoNet and some of these projects getting in front of Congress is huge. Trump's new crypto czar is an early investor in HiveMapper. This is the first time we've had really a pro crypto regulatory environment ever.
Yeah.
So I think very exciting times ahead. And, DePIN, and then, I think the AI agent is going to be interesting, worth taking a look at. And we got to do more of these live streams. I got a lot more content coming, so appreciate everyone that subscribes. Share with your friends. Love to have some more subscribers and keep growing that. And I got a long way to go before I catch up to Chris.
I'm hoping to keep going so you can't catch up. But with the way things are looking, I'm in for a long haul with this test.
Yeah. Smash that thumbs up. That's right. 619. Appreciate you too, man.
This could be the last January where we have a downturn because we have a pro crypto administration that could change everything.
That's dangerous talk right there, buddy.
Allegedly.
We're gonna start seeing those. You're gonna start seeing those posts. Oh, the market cycle sentiment's over. The market's never gonna drop again. So gonna be a bull run forever. Like come on.
The market has changed a lot.
It has.
From when Jesus.
It has.
Since 2017, like the first cycle I was in, crypto did not correlate at all with the stock market, and now it's pretty much tied. So
yeah, and one thing I'll say about that too, I know we keep saying we're gonna cut off, but like as the market cap for crypto gets larger and larger and more established, there's gonna be far less volatility, which is a good thing as far as like having people trust crypto and bringing in some of the Web 2 money, right? But that also means like volatility can be your friend. That also means that we might get to a point where those hundreds, actually thousand X's that we see may be few and far between. It's gonna be a lot harder to have the crazy gains that we've had. Like this bull run coming up, not to say it'll be the last to have astronomical gains, but it could be nearing the end of the volatility we've seen.
We're still looking for that super bull run that people talk about.
The super cycle.
Yeah,
this could be it. I mean,
every cycle.
We're still gonna have volatility, but over time it's going to level out more and more and more. Where it just gets, as the market cap gets larger, it gets harder. It takes way more money to shift it that much, right? Yeah. So from a percentage standpoint, I think we're still early here, and I think we are in the right place. But yeah, seize the opportunity. I'm spending most of my hours every day just dialed in right now and trying to find the opportunities. But yeah, man, all in all, very exciting stuff. You have anything to add, Chris?
Go Birds.
Okay, let's go. Go Birds, baby.
They're playing. Gotta beat those Packers. Yeah, that's all I got. I'm looking forward to everything, and I really hope this is the cycle where things start to do well. I don't want to say I don't struggle at all, but I like looking at my balance, and I just want to look at a bigger balance. That's it. That's all I want. So hopefully with all these projects, like I missed out on Helium. I want to say, honestly, I missed out on Demo. I missed out on HiveMapper just because I don't like with you have the fleets, and I was hesitant with a lot of that stuff for a long time. But now that I have a job, there's no reason to hold back. And that's kind of my goal, is to go heavier into projects that I believe in, because I made good returns, but I could have put way more in. I just didn't want to.
For sure.
Got to take that jump.
I wish I was in your position at your age.
That's the other thing I got to be fortunate about. Yeah, because compared to all my friends, like they don't know about crypto. They ask me about crypto. Mm-hmm. That's how it is. And a lot of them have been working for 3 to 4 years already, and I'm worth more than them. I make more than them now with my job, like 20 to 30 grand more, and I also am worth more, and I've been in school longer. So something doesn't add up. Some stone. I don't know what happened.
Maybe because you got into crypto earlier.
Yeah, I've been in crypto for so long. I've been trading it for so long, and the thing, like, I want to make a video. I know we're trying to wrap up here, but I want to make like a video just going on a rampage to these people. Like, what is it going to take for you to finally wake up and understand that crypto is the future? This investment vehicle is the future.
Yeah.
Who needs to invest in it? Does it have to be your favorite artist? Does it have to be your parents? Who does it have to be? Because you're missing out on a train, and it's going to happen again and again and again. You're going to have these cycles, and they're going to buy into Dogecoin. They're not going to understand the grand scheme of things. And like my own family members, that as far as they understand with crypto, it's just Bitcoin. It's like there's so much, like we're talking about AI agents and all this stuff. There's such a big ecosystem here, and all the companies that I guess I'm doing the rant now, all the companies that they invest in, like Goldman Sachs and all of these major Fortune 500, like the top 500 companies, are all in crypto. So who does it have to be? Who is the person that is finally going to make you stop being so grumpy about it and upset and just invest in it? Like, jump on board. And these are the people that are going to fully send crypto into the mainstream. The people that are still holding back. I don't know why they're holding back.
Well, it's, you have your standard adoption curve, right? Like, a lot of these people, I think we're still in like the early adopter. And we're not. 100%. I don't think we're innovator, in between innovators, early adopters, I think is where we're at. I think early majority is where we'll be moving into. But like, by being early, that's where being early, you have to think outside the box. You have to be willing to put yourself out there. But I think that's where the big gains are made. But at the same time, like, think about the shit. Like, we know how to go into wallets, go into dexes, be able to go cross chain, bridge assets. It's complex.
It is.
So, I think for a lot of people, there's like, I don't want to have to learn that, and that's fine. But that's eventually, awesome. What's that?
That's why I really like Demo. Like,
Demo's made it very easy.
Like they've made it so that there's a bunch of blockchain stuff going on behind, but you don't see it. You just see this nice polished user interface.
And I think we'll see more and more of that to help onboard new people. But it's like a lot of people aren't going to get into crypto until it's forced upon them. They're going to be using crypto services, not even knowing that they're using crypto services in many cases. Like for instance, when I'll bring it up, when I was at the Sphere for New Year's, they used Render to create that whole show. I mean, I didn't even know when I was at the show until I got home and saw that on Twitter. I was like, holy shit. So, I've gotten to the point now where I'm like, I'm not trying to convince my friends of anything anymore. Like, if they come to me and ask questions, I am happy to help anybody.
Yep.
I'm not going to push it on people anymore because, I've exhausted that, dude. It's like, people have to be willing to want to learn and want to listen. And, at this point, I'm not going to waste my time trying to convince people of something like, and we're going to, if this bull run hits, like, we're going to go from the last 2 years hearing that we're investing in scams to that, we got lucky.
Yeah,
of course.
Always.
That's how it happens.
I can't be lucky for 7 years straight. It's not how this works.
Yeah, exactly. But whatever. It is what it is, man. I think this is the path that we can take to kind of get out of the rat race to an extent. Because without having side hustles, without having some sort of ancillary income or investment vehicle, it's really hard to get out of the 9-to-5 grind. It's actually really nearly impossible unless But crypto is one of those places that can potentially change that, and I think that's super exciting. But we're early, right? And there is risk, and that the risk comes with the potential upside. So. With that said, I'm done. I gotta use the restroom, but that was freaking fun, man. Do you have any closing thoughts, Chris?
No, I shouldn't talk anymore. I'll say it now. I'm just kidding.
I do appreciate everyone that's stuck with us tonight. And 619, you've been very interactive. Appreciate you, man. And yeah, it was a good discussion. And all of our subscribers, we appreciate you all. And with that, I guess we'll cut this thing off and we'll do another one of these soon.
Absolutely.
All right. Thanks, Chris.
Peace.
Safe.